Hello and welcome to the 114th episode of the Gojenn podcast. I am Gojenn, your hostess. Today is Father's Day in the U.S. and it is Sunday, June 18th. No, is it really? It is. Sorry. June 18th. How did it get to be June 18th already? Boy, the month is halfway over. So I want to welcome all of any new viewers, hello, and any returning viewers. Thank you for coming back. One thing I wanted to make sure I do is to tell you that you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Gojenn, Gojenn. So please go there and friend me or follow or whatever, and I'll try to do the same back for you. I watch a lot of other podcasts. Some are crafting and some are not. But the Conscious Crafter gave me a big shout out on her podcast. She mentioned my Lost in Time shawl. If you remember, it's the big colorful shawl. And she said she liked it, so she started one of her own. I can't wait to see how it works out for her. I think she's taking, she's having a brief trial separation with knitting. She said she was breaking up with knitting, but, sometimes you just have to go back. So I think it's just a temporary separation. So, I don't have that many finished objects. I have 2 whips this week, and that's all. So what I wanted to start off talking about was my bullet journal and how it's working out for me in June in this, which is my A5 size notebook, and it is a uni notebook that was about $12 on Amazon, and I really like it. This at the bottom is a tracker from Boho Berries. I think it's her Etsy shop. It's the papery. I'm not sure, but I know if you look up Boho Berry, it'll come up. Then I wanted to mention, this is a mess. I have a mess of Post-it notes because I don't like this, and so I have Post-it notes of what I want to do. At the top, it's another crafting tracker, and I've used little spiral balls that are supposed to look like yarn balls to just note what I'm working on each day, and that makes me very happy. That's just a very easy, fast way for me to note what I'm working on. And then I had this spread. Sorry, and I hope it's not backwards. I don't know if it is or not. If it is, I'm sorry. For a June crafting tracker. Well, that's just exactly the same as I have over here. So why did I need to replicate my effort and make more work for myself than I already, the idea of this is to make my life simpler. So what I've done is I copied that. There's a sticker that I have from redbubble.com that says bullet journal. So I copied that onto, this is just a sheet of plain paper, not drawing paper or anything special. And so I'm going to fill those circles in, hopefully with some color and some Zentangles. And so I'm just going to cover up this page, which was unnecessary, with this art page, which makes me happy. So that is one thing that was not making me happy that I have turned into something that's going to flat out thrill me to no end. This is how my bullet journal was looking. I have changed it since this was the 1st of June with my daily lists over here and the bullet journal list. And then I had podcast notes. Then, just like in my other journals, the days and then the list. And then journaling. Journal, 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 journal. Journal, 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 journal. Do Zentangles and doodling. Another bullet journal list and the days. Journal, 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 journal. And this is different. Can you see? Nope, that's my podcast notes. I skipped over. This is what I want you to see. This is stolen from the Instagram feed of Blue Lahe, Bluelahe. And over here, it is a column for each day of the week. And then over here is the bullet journal list. And as you do things, you just check them off the list. So you can see I'm really bad about making myself do things in the beginning, but then I get better. And I'm also checking off, how I'm doing on social media, things like that, and have a little spot for what's coming up next week. I love this. I love the idea of this. You don't even need the boxes for the days, like a daily or weekly spread. So I have just used a little box here in my journaling to list 3 or 4 highlights of the day. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'm ready to start the week that's coming. And I've got Post-it notes to remind me, don't forget to do such and such. And so that is a flip through of what's working and what's not working in my bullet journal. I love the spread with the daily columns. I mean, if there's one thing I love, it is checking off things. Done. I'll write something down just so I can check it off. That's how I keep a sense of accomplishment, a sense that I am getting things done. So that ends the bullet journal portion of our program. So, stay tuned for words from our sponsors. I don't have any of those. So let me get my works in progress for the week. I know that this will not surprise any of y'all, but this is like my 3rd time recording. I tried it outside. It is 92 degrees today, I think, and very humid, and a storm will be coming up soon. This is my Snapdragon. It is Tunisian crochet. It is almost finished. Last podcast, I was at the peak here. I have worked that far and I am down to there. That's all I have left to do. So I should finish that this week for sure. I got up this morning and started crocheting, just determined that I would have it finished to show you today, but no. Sorry. But it is very close to being done. This is the Snapdragon. The pattern's written by Ava Nee. The yarn is Malabrigo Sock in the colorway Abril. I love it. I want to do more of her patterns. I like the way she writes Tunisian patterns. Because Tunisian is not as standardized, I don't think, as some of just regular crochet. And I like her terminology, the way she writes it. It makes me happy. And that is going to be finished this week. Promise. Well, it's a goal, and I should be able to do it. That has to be done by the end of June for my Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup. This has to be done by the end of July for the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup. I don't know if it'll make it, but I am loving it every stitch I work. This is the Metro kerchief. It is regular crochet, however it is technique slip stitch with all the stitches in the back stitch, the back loop only. This is the back side, so you see it doesn't have the texture. And then I love that texture. Love. So this is really the bottom and this is the top. So I love it. I love working on this. I love working on the Snapdragon too. And that's a blessing when you can work on your projects and be happy with them. That's just fun. The only finished project that I finished, the only project that I finished this week, excuse me, was a washcloth that I turned in for a class in Harry Potter world. Because, you know, you can always use another washcloth. I wanted to talk to you too about how I realized at the first of this week that when I planned out my week, you know, the week that I'm finishing up, I had nothing. Nothing. I just had a week of work, home, work, home, work, home all week. That was Monday. By Tuesday afternoon, the company I work for had announced that we were celebrating Flag Day in the U.S. on Wednesday. So we got to wear red, white, and blue. That was fun. Thursday, the Bloodmobile came, so I donated blood. Friday, I had a Friday afternoon date with my grandson. We went to the movies and had lunch together. And then Saturday, he and I, my grandson and I, went out to my parents' house for Father's Day to see my mom and dad. And so I got to spend a lot of quality time with him this week. And he's 13 now, so he can definitely assert his own personality. But he's an awful great kid, you know. I don't want him to know. No, he knows that he's right up there on the top of my list. So anyway, I think that's about all I have this week, except for one brain cell happened to fire, and I want to keep you up to date on my reading and watching. I finished on Netflix the series Marcella, Marcella. She's a detective in London with a bunch of personal problems. Like, who has personal problems? No, yeah. That was really good. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best, but it was enjoyable. I am still listening to The Leopard by Joe Nesbø, and it is the Harry Hole detective in Norway, and I adore him. He is such a flawed individual that I just love him. I do. I would probably not be able to stand him in real life for 5 minutes, but I don't have to. All the other characters have to deal with him, and most of them don't like him either. Okay, and on the Kindle, I'm reading We Are Legion, We Are Bob. And the author is Dennis E. Taylor, Taylor. And that is so far so good. It's science fiction. It's a cryogenically frozen person waking up in the future and all the things that have happened. So it's very, the main character has a real witty sense of humor, and I enjoy that a lot. So I've enjoyed reading about him. I think if you have a teen or a tween, this would be good for that age too, because there's no, I don't think there's been any bad language at all, but no sex or anything like that. I'm enjoying it. But usually by the time I get to my Kindle reading, I have one eye asleep. But anyway, so I do recommend that. I think it'd be good for my grandson to read too, so I need to get it to him. Okay, all that being said, How did you know that's what I was going to say? Until I see you again. I wish you nothing but love and laughter. Thanks.